I've given up count how many times James Bond has been shifted in theaters, but it's finally here, so let's talk about No Time to Die. Welcome, movie watchers. Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to talk about the new James Bond film, No Time to Die. James Bond has left active service. His peace is short-lived when Felix Leiter, an old friend from the CIA, turns up asking for help, leading Bond onto the trail of a mysterious villain armed with dangerous new technology. I'm a huge James Bond fan. Simply put, I've been reviewing all the James Bond films leading up to No Time to Die. I started back in October of 2019, and I finally came able to complete this series with No Time to Die. I've been looking forward to this movie for quite some time. With a new director shift and the last Daniel Craig James Bond film. And so, you have some expectations going into it. This quite possibly is one of the best James Bond films I have seen. Not because it is Daniel Craig's last film, but it is one of the most emotionally invested films I have been in for a James Bond film. This movie opens up so well. Quite possibly the best opening for a James Bond film. And all the moments of him living with peace with Madeline is interrupted, and he is approached by Felix Leiter. The whole opening sequence before Billie Eilish's song is just so intense. All of the action within it and the stunt work just is so captivating and on the edge of your seat action scenes. Throughout the whole entire film, it is action packed. This is some of the best action I have seen in a James Bond film. It just looks so good. It is directed so well, and all of the action scenes just seem so big. And a lot of them are very personal to James Bond as well. A lot of them have that sense of urgency surrounding some of these action scenes, and he is put into a lot of predicaments where he is tested with his life. And so the action scenes in here are just so great. And it starts it off so well with him and Madeline just living peacefully. That's quickly interrupted. We have the villain in here, Saffron, played by Rami Malek. He's armed with new technology that could kill pretty much everybody in the world. I don't want to go into spoiler territory for him and his connection to Bond and Madeline and all of that, but I thought that Rami Malek was really good in the film. He didn't have the most screen time in this 2-hour and 43-minute film, but you always felt his presence from beginning to end. You felt like he was there without actually being there. And once we do get him in full force, it's a really chilling performance. He has that typical big villainous speech, and he has that big agenda, and it just works so well. And you could tell that Bond is really challenged by Saffron within this movie. And all the secrecy surrounding this character, it's quite interesting. And this is one of the biggest villain plots I have seen in a Bond film. All of the people that Saffron is targeting, what he is able to accomplish, and all of the thought going into his big plans really challenges Bond because that urgency is there. Everybody is working hard to try to get the next clue. We have Q, Tanner, M, Moneypenny, and the new 007 as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. But all of them are just working together to find Saffron. So you're really feeling his presence throughout the film. But when we do get Rami Malek in full force, it's quite chilling. We have some new characters in here. One is played by Lashana Lynch. She is the new 007. And she loves it. She loves the fact that she took over this role of James Bond's role of 007. And he's not quite sure how to react to it all, but she's really good at what she does. I feel like she is a good pick to play 007, not James Bond, but the number 007. And they eventually do work together, and they put aside their differences, and I think they do work well together. They have some interesting chemistry kind of towards the end of the film, but their intentions are in the right spot. And I like seeing her in the film. I was surprised with actually how much she was in the movie. I thought once James Bond would be reinstated that they would kind of not use her as much, but they did use her, and I really liked the character. Another character that we did get was played by Ana de Armas, Paloma. Really brief scene, but they utilized her so well. She was so giddy about working with Bond, since this is like her big first gig. And she held her own. She was so cool. I'd love to see either a series or a movie surrounding these two new characters. But the brief appearances for Paloma was definitely utilized very well. And then you see in the trailers that we do have Blofeld back once again, played by Christoph Waltz. Brief performance once again, but they utilized the character very well. That conflict between Bond and him once again is revisited. Inspector, it has a role in this movie as well. And so Christoph Waltz once again gives a really good performance as Blofeld. But let's talk about Bond. Daniel Craig is Bond. Daniel Craig once again gives a really good performance. But this time around, it's emotional. He is in love with Madeline. And I thought Inspector, him and Madeline, were okay together. They didn't have like the best chemistry ever. But I said in my Spectre review that I was curious to see how it was going to be in No Time to Die, since she was going to be in it again. Besides Vesper from Casino Royale, this is like the most attention a James Bond girl has got. And this is a really strong story for Madeline, to the point where it plays a main character within the movie besides Bond. And I was so happy that they did bring her back and explored her past within this movie, because this movie, she does have that solid chemistry with Bond. And Léa Seydoux really gives her performance her all. Once again, a really emotional performance. We do see that past from her and her connection to Saffron, and how she is involved with everything. You could tell that her and Bond are truly in love, and they are tested quite often within the movie. But Daniel Craig, there's a lot of moments within this movie where you can tell he's just broken down, and that's what I loved from Casino Royale all the way now to No Time to Die, is he's vulnerable. We have always thought that Bond cannot be broken, the ladies' man, but this time around it's completely different. Like, we're getting a whole new version of James Bond. Yes, he's living peacefully, but he also has many moments that are testing him emotionally, physically as well. And they really handled those moments for this character so well that you're just getting like a whole new light to James Bond. And I absolutely loved it. And that's where all of my emotional investment was the relationship between Bond and Madeline. And Daniel Craig, for being the strong guy and one of the best James Bonds, he handled some of those emotional moments so well. Like, didn't straight on just cry about everything, and you could tell that he was really upset. Just those little movements from his eyes and his facial expressions could tell that he was like disappointed, upset, hurt, and we just felt all of that throughout the movie. For it being 2 hours and 43 minutes, I thought it went by fairly quick. There were several times I needed to use the restroom though. But it was never the right time, because it just was so quick that we got to the next scene, and I was interested in this scene and this action-packed scene. So I didn't get to go to the restroom during the whole movie, but that's okay, because the pacing for this movie does move really quick, and it's really focused on the certain key moments from Saffron and Madeline. The pacing never really gives up. And if it's involving Felix Leiter and Bond, or 007 and James Bond, Paloma, Madeline, Saffron, whoever it is, the pacing just is so quick that the 2 hours and 43 minutes just feel like a breeze. I was a little bit worried about it because I get tired very easily. And anytime I go to the movie, I find myself just dozing off a little bit. But not with this movie. I was absolutely glued to the screen. And then we also have Billie Eilish's James Bond song, which I am happy that I did not listen to it. It was released a while ago. Didn't listen to it. My wife listened to it. I said I refuse to listen to it. I want to hear it on the big screen for the first time. I thought it was a pretty good song. It didn't pack a punch like some other James Bond songs have, but I really like the lyrics and the usage of time within the movie. So No Time to Die. For it being a really long film, they utilized the story very well. It was confident, it was fierce, it was action-packed, it was emotional. I was truly invested within this movie. It is a fitting ending to Daniel Craig's James Bond, and definitely worth all of the pushbacks this movie has gone through over the last couple years. It's definitely worth the time. And I really love how this film is just connected from Casino Royale to No Time to Die. You know, with all the other James Bond films, they're just like one-off stories. There's not really any connection between all of them, except for these Daniel Craig films. There's mentions of Vesper Lynn and Mr. White, which we've gotten in the previous Daniel Craig films. So I was really happy with how this film turned out. Not my favorite James Bond film, but I'm excited to talk about it in an upcoming ranking video, and also talk about Saffron and the upcoming James Bond villain rankings, and Billie Eilish's song and a James Bond song ranking. So expect a lot of up-and-coming James Bond videos coming your way very soon. So before I give you my score for No Time to Die, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie-related content you see on YouTube. I do it all here. So hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. I'm going to go ahead and give No Time to Die an A. Thank you guys for checking my review for James Bond's new film, No Time to Die. Have you guys seen it? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up-and-coming James Bond content. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.